I know that fall to winter is like that in Salt Lake, and it still always surprises me when it happens. I'm like, oh yeah, we flipped the switch, so that all of the talk that I get about, or all the thought about this transition into winter seems somewhat abrupt. Because, you know, for me there really is this, there's so many things that, you know, get carried over. You know, living in a place where it's cold, how you even have to like prep, you know, the garden, the water. There's things that need to be done as you're getting set. And even the little things like moving all the clothes around and getting all the stuff out of the back there and kind of setting the stage for winter. So I was away in the desert this weekend where it was not 30 degrees and then came home to this. So it very much feels like this, oh, we flipped the switch, now it could be, all bets are off. It can snow tomorrow, it can, you know, you were there. If you didn't plan, if you're not totally ready, too bad, here we go. So it's how, you know, how do you acclimate? How do you get yourself into the flow of the season when, I'll be excited for winter, don't get me wrong, but right now I'm trying to remind myself that I will be excited in this kind of realigning, resetting time of year. So I will talk about it too, because in yoga practice, we did this a few weeks ago, how like even the way the poses you choose will kind of be different. The things you crave seasonally, you know, may have a different effect. So sit up tall, close your eyes, just get comfortable, get tuned in, and then roll. And the first step is just always taking it in. So you take a few breaths, you notice what's going on, you notice if you are out of sync with your surroundings, and really to digest that and to take a moment, know where you're at, know where you want to be, so that you can make the necessary adjustments. Make your breath move smooth but deep, so you're bringing in air in a way that feels good. Trying to breathe that deep breath with as little tension in your body as possible. So you're allowing yourself to be moved by your own breath, to be sensitive enough so that that can happen well. And at the end of an exhale, fold your hands together in front of your heart and sit up nice and tall. Take a deep breath in and exhale. We'll sing together, so 3 ohms in 1 round of the invocation. Take a deep breath. Namah Shivaya Gurave Sachitananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase. And to your heart, you can bow. Release your hands and open your eyes. And start on all fours, hands and knees. Let's go this way. And open up your fingers wide. Look at the middle finger and the ring finger, and especially, make sure those guys are as evenly spread out as the rest of your long fingers. Grip the floor, draw the center of your palm up away from the mat, and then gently with your breath, just start to roll through the wrists side to side or little circles. Taking the shoulders forward over the fingers as you get more warmed up. And then turning the hands out and doing the same thing. And that slow setup, where it may not look like you're doing anything, but it's the stuff you're doing inside your head of noticing, of making those connections. And those are really important, like to be able to really kind of connect all these pieces the more you practice. Make sense of it in your own body. Do the back of the hand down, same idea, pressing the fingernails down. Trying to drag your wrist away from your hands, even sitting back into the wrists as you feel able to, warmed up for it. And then give your wrists a shake out and make your way into down dog when you're ready. You can shake, you can kind of... And then that first downward dog, use it to explore the legs, the back, where your hip position is. Really, whatever you're feeling today, whatever kind of pops up as you start to work into this. Keep the hands active on the floor so the shoulders stay lifted, the arm muscles remain active. And when you can do that, when you keep the strength, you can stretch down back into the floor with your hands, send your legs back, and hear the sound and the quality of your breathing. Nice. On an inhale, lift your right leg up to the sky, three-legged dog. Bend the knee, twist open with that top leg, rolling it open, but continuing to anchor heavier into that bottom leg, standing leg. Big step forward into a lunge. Come on up, find your balance. See if you can relax your hips so that your own body weight makes the front foot heavier and more stable on the ground. As you come up, of course, and I lose it. And again, there's this element of like, make it easy so that you feel solid. And then lift and take the arms up to the sky. Think of the arms as an extension of the length you're putting into the spine. So that even, if they're just straight up, as you reach up, you elongate through your ribs, you breathe into that space, even into the back part of your torso. Push your feet down, full stretch, as much as you can lift through the spine, through the fingers, and then back to down dog from there. Nice. You take the left leg up on the next inhale. Bend the knee, open it up, twisted or three-legged dog, sending your bottom leg further back. Nice. And then big step forward, high lunge again. Take your time to come up. Things may feel different on the second side, so give it, its own kind of check-in moment. Trying to make your entire foot from the heel all the way through the toes, like all the parts that touch the mat are actively touching the mat. And then arms overhead as you breathe, as tall as you can, and just taking a few breaths to expand the lungs, to fill up the torso even more. And then again, stretch down through your legs, reach up through the waist, lifting even your shoulders, and then back to downward dog. Yeah, all the way back. And then as you inhale, roll forward so you're in the top of a push-up or plank position. Bend your elbows all the way to the ground. Lift your shoulders, then cobra pose, slide up. And back to downward facing dog. Making sure you give yourself just like that moment to land and take in what you're feeling in each pose. And especially when you're getting going. Bend the knees, walk or jump to the front of your mat. Fold forward over your legs. And then keep your belly pulled into the spine. Inhale, reach your spine forward, a halfway lift. Keep that support. Exhale, hollow back out as you fold. Imagine if we stuck like a little pillow up at the very top of your thighs, low belly. And you're trying not to touch that. Again, inhale, sweep the spine forward, head forward, thighs push back. As you exhale, round and take your head down to your legs. One more time, root the legs, lift the chest, but keep coming all the way up to stand. Reaching up overhead at the top. Firm up your legs, anchor down against the floor and elongate up even higher. Then take right wrist, stretch it to the side. You can do it in pulses like something like this, or you can try to just linger and hold. But notice if you stay in the pose, you're going to feel like you have to do more work to keep the actions. You don't want to let this thing just kind of slither away. Good. Just come back up tall, switch hands, go the other way. When you're standing on your legs, you're driving all those poses with your legs. So, the shift, the movement, the strength, it really is first and foremost in your legs. Nice. And then back up tall, release the arms, and sit back into a little squat. So bend your knees, slide your hips back. Keep your toes pressing down as you lift and open your chest. And the hands can stay on the legs, they can reach out, you can reach up, you can take all of your level of challenge. And again, remind the toes to press down. And even like thinking what that feels like, because when you get your toes to press down, you can then effectively pull the arches of your feet up. And it's really the inside and the outside of the feet that have these muscles that can be toned and lifted. Hold that. Reach to the sky for one more breath, and then all the way over your legs, fold down, fold forward. On an inhale, lift your chest. Step your left leg back lunge, and come on up. Ground the legs, reach the arms to the sky. And lengthen up through the back side of your torso. Keep your back legs strong and as if you were leaning back a little bit in the upper body. See if you can do that. Not so much like lifting the chest, but really just kind of shifting a little back. And then again, add the length. Stretch the legs, reach through the arms. Good. So keep that open spine position twist. You're coming down with the left hand to the floor, right hand turns to the sky. And think of that, you can lean back a lot. You can walk your hand over to the left more. Think about the middle part of your back initiating the lean back, not your head. The head's going to be the last part. Think like waistline, bottom ribs, shoulders can all fill more back than the head can stretch. Good. Take the hands to the floor. Hop, switch, or change legs. Nice. And then come all the way up. And what this is trying to make you do is, kind of like organize. So you're taking your whole spine and you're shifting it back instead of just cranking curve into one area. And especially when you're just getting going. So again, legs strong, waistline, ribs back, like as if someone took your rib cage and is just shifting you more into your back leg. Then from there, ground down through the legs, open up through the chest, and full stretch. Then for the twist, so come down, right hand to the floor, left arm to the sky. Yeah. And if you want to go deeper and deeper, again, the bottom hand can move to the right, but waistline back. Really feel the more solid, full part of your torso be the part that we're asking to move and to open. Give it one more breath, big full stretch through the arm, through the legs, and then downward facing dog pose. Good. As you inhale, plank again, top of a push-up. Exhale, bend your elbows and lower. Point the toes and come up, cobra pose. And then down dog when you are ready. Stretch your right leg to the sky one more time. All the way forward into a lunge, right foot forward lunge. And then come on up. Good. So this time, you're gonna, so keep that reaching to the ceiling through the upper body. Take your back knee and just like as if you're gonna lower it straight down to the floor. So you bend the knee and you're trying to drop down into it a little bit. Not like, don't go all the way down, but go down a little. And like the idea is your back thigh and your torso all make a nice straight line. From there, keep the torso even more back and then lift and re-straighten your leg. You can do that a few times. So if you bend, the idea is like line everything up, torso more back, and then use like the power, really strong back leg to drive the support to hold your spine there. One more big inhale. This time you can lean back more and more. I mean, you can start to really add some back bend and just remind your back leg is hugely supporting of that. Good. Take the hands to the floor, top of a push-up, and lower down as you exhale. Good. Cobra or upward dog, and downward dog. And then when you get back, take your left leg to the sky, three-legged dog. Step it all the way forward, high lunge. And then come on up. So same idea. The front leg, more or less, is going to try to stay about the same. Your back knee, so you're kind of like, I feel like I'm pulling my back knee in as I lower down. Waistline back, strong back leg as you hold there, and then drive it back up as tight as you can get it so you even get contraction in the glute, in the butt muscle. We'll do one or two more because we did them on the first side. Again, waist back, load that back leg, then drive the power into it. Once you've gotten it, you can really open up. You can lean back, curl back, sweep the heart to the sky, stretch the arms to the back wall. Good. Downward facing dog. One more plank on the inhale, top of a push-up. Down as you exhale, and back bend of cobra or upward dog. Very nice, guys. Down dog when you're ready for it. And then bend your knees, walk or jump back to the front of your mat. Nice. And fold. Root the legs down, lift your chest, come all the way up to stand in a big full stretch. Oh, good. Release the arms. Take the hands, interlace them behind you. And you're going for a little squat shape here. So bend your knees. Hands can start right on your hips, and it's a good reminder to really shift your butt back into where your hands are so it tips you forward. Then keeping there, roll the shoulders together, stretch the arms straight. Now, keep pushing down through the floor because this is like a thoracic spine move where hold your shoulders together, sweep to lift the heart, and feel like you're trying to push and stretch your hands towards the back wall. Like you're literally taking your shoulders away from your body and shooting them back. Good. Then from there, chest towards your knees, fold all the way forward, and you can straighten your legs as much as you want. If you keep straightening your legs, will make it, obviously more hamstring, but it might prevent you from getting into your shoulders, so you can play around with that a little bit. Awesome, and then touch the floor. Let's go back just to plank position. We're going to pause in plank, squeeze the mat so you make your arms strong, and then push the mat away so you protract your shoulders. Make sure you can do that and really hold that tallest, most protracted position. So from here, we're going to do like a half of a push-up. So bend your elbows a little bit. You can bend like a little bit more, but then rock onto your tippy toes. Go forward and go back. Forward and go back. If it's too hard to do this here, put your knees down and do it there. But the idea is just to kind of get used to making this a harder and harder and harder push-up. Rest all the way on the belly. You'll have more tries to get good at that. Interlace your hands behind you. Lift your shoulders and your chest up. Feel like getting good at a push-up, especially like what we're looking for in yoga, will make you, it's like all the arm balances. You can make these things so damn hard. Make your toes heavier, see if you can lift your chest a little bit higher. Awesome. And then back to the floor, back to downward facing dog. Good, take your right leg up to the sky. Warrior two, bring it forward, turn your back foot down as you come up. Shift your butt just slightly, as if you can shift it back, so it's going to feel like you're sticking your butt to your right side of your yoga mat, and really it's the back leg, back hip, or your left butt cheek, if you will. And then from there, ground the legs, rise tall through your spine. And on an inhale, lean back, reverse warrior. So right arm way up there, press your feet down heavy. Very nice. And then inhale your way back, warrior two. Take your hands behind you, drop, squeeze your shoulders towards each other, bow forward between your legs. And if you couldn't quite feel it in warrior two, really emphasize, can you stick your butt out, your left butt, more back, then take your head and reach your head more towards your front foot. Both things like at the same time, butt back, hips wide apart, keep your back leg strong, but then drawing the head forward like you're trying to pull your spine away from your hips. Take one more breath as you sit deep into that lunge. Nice work, guys. Lift your chest, come all the way back up. Warrior two into triangle pose. Straighten your front leg. Keep your left butt back. Bring your right hand down into the pose. Doesn't need to be super low. Like it's a good idea. You start easier, make the, like, really command the shape. Be like, I got this. I know where I'm supposed to be. I can stretch. I can open. Like, it feels good to hold in this position. Then, once you have that, you can slide deeper. See if you can push your legs down with more power. If you can make the spine feel lighter as you twist open. Nice job. Enjoy just one more nice deep, full breath there. Good. Bring the hands to the floor. Make your way back downward facing dog. We're going to do a bunch of these push-ups this way. Go plank pose. Again, knees can always come down. Chaturanga, so halfway, and then a couple forward on your tippy toes. See if you can hold that, and then back. Forward, so like your elbows are over your wrists or even in front, all the way to the floor. Whew. And then point your toes, cobra or up dog. Lift the hips, downward dog. Take your left leg to the sky. Warrior two, step forward. Very good, and then make your way up. Yeah, it's fun watching. There really is like such a select group who comes in this room with me, so it's like, yeah, you see all the study, all the practice in just the little setup. So once you're good, once you feel like you got the position, a big inhale, lean back, take the left arm to the sky, and as you ground into your feet, rise up, stretch through that arm. Nice, and then inhale back to warrior. Interlace your fingers behind you. Shoulders back, fold forward between your legs. Yeah. Strong back leg is what's going to allow you to really create that separation between both legs. So hips back, and then taking the head more towards your front foot. But mindful of what the back leg does, because that's what really creates the opening. That's the point of, hip opener in this position. Get another breath. See if you can sink a little heavier into this. Nice. And then chest back up, all the way back up, warrior two. Pull the front leg straight for triangle pose. And then left hand down. And as you anchor down into the floor through both legs, trying to do so with as much evenness in both legs, in both positions. The inside part of your front foot, your inside left foot, is probably a little bit lighter. So see if you can balance that out by the way you step down into the big toe mound and the inner edge of your heel as you breathe the chest open. Good, guys. All right, bring the hands back down to the floor. Again, downward facing dog. And then plank pose as you come forward. So this time, we're just going to do one. So chaturanga, go forward and then lower. So now here's the fun part. Keep your toe, do cobra. Point your toes, lift your chest. We'll give you the back bend. But then right back down to the floor. So from here, tuck your toes under, lift your shoulders, and start to squeeze your glutes and your legs tight, like real tight. Then see if you can go from there an inch off the floor. Then you can go forward, and then all the way back up, top of a push-up, and all the way back, downward facing dog. Turn onto your right hand and the outer edge of your right foot. Vashisthasana, take your left arm to the sky. If you want to make sure you can push the ground away, that you're not sinking into your bottom shoulder. And if you are, just put your knees on the floor. Make the arm position a little easier. You may like that better too. It'll make your shoulder happy. Even if you have to do this, like this is a good one. So you can push and rotate. Yeah, you can. But I'll teach it to you one of these days. All right. And then back through to down dog. Turn onto the other side. The left hand, outer edge of your left foot. Take your right arm up. Really, it's a shoulder position Warm-up is the, technically why I'm doing this. We're going to do handstand. So it's like, you want to get just the shoulders warm and ready for that kind of support. Lift your hips high, yeah. Nice work. Good, and then back to the floor. Walk or jump to the front of your mat and fold. Good. And then root your leg down, lift your chest, come all the way up. Big stretch at the top. And then arms by your side. So just take, wherever you are, just find some wall space, bring your mat so we can do some handstand. Yeah. You got plenty of room in this gigantic room. Okay, so the first, as you're getting ready, make sure you don't have like a metal pole stake like I do that could injure you. Be careful. Okay, so first thing is just basic, shoulder activation, warm up. We're going to get up and do either L pose or you can kick up and do handstand. Either way. So I'm getting into this straight, strong arms. If you're worried about your elbows bending, look down at your fingertips just to ingrain, keep the arms straight. And then from here, you're pushing the ground away and sinking in without letting the elbows bend. It's just like, it's a small little movement. You guys know the drill. So you can walk in super close. You can do it with your chest on the wall or your back on the wall. If you want to do more. Okay? The big thing is like no elbows are moving. So really like just a great little warm-up drill because we don't do a lot of that kind of end range shoulder stuff. Yep. Straight the whole darn way. Good. Okay. All right, and then so the next thing, once you can keep working on this, if you're just trying to get steady and get good at holding, stay with that. And really, like, you're just trying to, build the stability for handstand over time. For those of you that are working on balance, you can play with the light switch of the leg. So basically, I'm kicking up. And at first, I want to be able to kick up. Basic is come down with the same leg you jumped. Most of you, once you have that, then you're going to jump and very calmly switch your legs in midair so you land on the other. So like more basic, if you're still just kind of like learning how to get up there, it's this. It's jump and land. The lifted leg stays straight. Jump and land. Once you have that, then it's jump, making it look too easy. So jump and switch. Jump and switch. Not even worrying too much about actually getting to handstand. I mean, you could if you're doing handstand, but as a more basic skill, it's learning how to shift your body weight from your feet into your hands and not be all panicky. So you're getting like these moments of float, trying to come back to the ground, not like you're crashing down. Again, it doesn't have to be much. This is like something I'll have people do is just this. Where it's like shift your weight, lightly hit the floor. Try that or keep working L pose if that's if that's the best thing for you right now, or you're just trying to get some time built upside down. Yeah. Nice, James. You look good. When you go up, James, the lead leg, it looks super good. Turn the leg in even a little bit more than you think. It's pretty in, but it's just like, it could be like a smidge more. Because I think long before you know how to do handstand in the middle of the room, you look like you're not going to crash as much is important. You look relaxed, because that hugely translates. Just make sure, Tyler, you still keep the arms straight, even as you're leaning into it. You get a little more, you're tall, so it's a little trickier. That's the idea, yeah. If you feel like that's going really well, do it facing the middle of the room and see if you can keep it that calm looking. Because then you're getting somewhere. It's like taking the training wheels off. Wait, slow down that jumping leg, Mira. Like jump and just wait for that bottom leg to get up there instead of trying to snap them together. Let's see, do a few more. Yeah, yeah. You know, if you can balance and split legs, you're golden. Yeah. It's just like keep it relaxed. Nice. Yeah. All right, give it another shot or two, and then you can come on back. It's just back to your starting spot. Yeah. Just a reminder, when you do come back, if your wrists ever give you trouble, the back of the hand down is a good one. That's one of those that we started class with is great. Yeah, you guys can come on back. You can reset. And then into downward facing dog from there. Good. Nice work. And then right leg up to the sky. Step forward into a high lunge. Good. And then once you're up there from here, opening up like we did before, you can even drop the knee and lay back and then lock out that back leg. You're going to take this thing forward and try not to drop your chest. Step into the front leg, warrior three. Fire up your back leg, lift even your shoulder blades up more. So you feel like you're trying to access those muscles on the back side of your body as well. Good. Take both hands down to the floor. Standing splits, keep the top leg lifted up high. You can take the top leg, turn it out, turn it back in to basically hit different muscle attachments and connective tissue. Trying to do all of that with totally under good power, under your control. So you are engaging your way to that turn out, turn in. Good. And then place the hands down on the mat like you're doing handstand. Rock, lift onto your tippy toes in the bottom leg. And then from here, from your foot, rock into your hands. Maybe you can rock so much that that foot leaves the ground for a moment and you come back down. Basically, it's a quick moment to do another handstand, trapped in the middle of the room. Back to down dog when you're ready. And then take left leg up to the sky. Big step forward, high lunge. Same deal when you come up. If that's a helpful trick for you, you can, once you get set, you can put that little bend, get back, make the back leg work for it, and then nice and tall, nice and strong. From there to warrior three. The whole bottom foot working, the inner edge of the foot, the weight back in the heel, firm up your legs, lift into the back muscles, but keep the breath smooth, as relaxed as you're able to. Hands to the floor, standing splits. And again, take the top leg and do all those variations to roll the leg open, to roll it back in. Because the higher you lift that top leg, the less you have to jump when you make this transition to handstand. So yeah, it definitely helps. Place the hands on the floor, come up on the tippy toes. You probably have a favorite leg. So when you try here, same deal, shifting the weight from the foot into the hands. You can go back and forth. Eventually, you get a moment of liftoff. Maybe. Yeah, back to dog pose once you've gotten a try or two at that. Good, guys. Nice. One more smooth breath. Sweep the right leg up to the sky and step forward into a low lunge. So the back knee goes down in this one. Then from there, twist to your right with your right hand. Hold your back foot for a thigh stretch with a twist. So open up, roll the twist open, lean the torso back. Keep the chest as if it's spinning up to the ceiling, and then lunge your hips forward. Bring your back foot with you. And when it gets a little spicy, breathe and hold. And see if you can, again, you keep the twist, you drive yourself down into the legs a little bit more. See if you can go forward. See if you can go a little forward, yeah. But don't drop your chest. You're doing good. Just get. Breathe. Breathe into those spots that are tight. Like, it's part of it is just trying to keep the nervous system calmer. Good. All right, let go of the foot. Switch the legs. You could jump them if you want. So now left foot's in front, back knee down. Twist to the left and take hold of your back foot. Left hand, left foot. So once you get the twist, and even your right heel close to the right butt, and then lunge the hips forward, keep the twist. Try to keep your upper body exactly the same. The more you lunge forward, you will shift your hips a little bit towards the left side of your mat, the deeper you go. So you can think of that, like your hips get pulled down and towards the left, the upper body is extending away over to the right. So you're wide opened up, taking up a lot of space in this pose. Beautiful. All right. Release the foot, head back to downward dog. Good. And then bring your knees down to the mat, just resting for a second. I'm going to show you. So there are two. I've just picked a hard pose today to try to teach you. We're going to try this one. So there are two poses. So let's see if we can get this one. This one's is the easier one. So Mayurasana, one of the things I think about this is your elbows close, but your hands apart. So the way this works is you're going to place your hands down and then try to bring your elbows in. I have heard you got to make room sometimes if you have more chest, but you get your hands down, your elbows in, knees wide. So here's just one way to set up and work this pose. Forehead to the floor, way out in front. See if I can pick my knees up, my legs up. You can pick your head up. You can straighten the legs, but it's a pretty awkward little setup. So as you're getting into this, just take your knees wide, elbows to your belly. Do what you need to do. Get your fingers are pointing back towards you. Your hands are slightly apart. I showed it like, oh yeah, you pop right into it. It may not happen quite like that. So, like those push-ups we were doing earlier, treat it like that. If you're like, I can't do this pose, this is hard. It is hard. So you go down, you can keep your head off the floor, and you shift forward and back. In order to get lift off, you have to get your elbows far enough forward. If they're behind your wrists, it's not going to work. If they're in front, then you really are doing a hard pose. Yeah. Yeah, and anything, you can do anything with the legs. The knees can be bent, the legs can be straight, they can be wide. I know, I teach this and then I'm like, probably harder to teach. I'm going to tell you what I wanted to show you anyway. So that's called Mayurasana or peacock pose. Fingers forward, Hamsasana. It's even harder because you don't have anywhere to stick your elbows in this one. So I kind of teach it to people the same way, but it's hard because your fingers are more forward and you're not sticking your elbows in as much. So elbows are still relatively tight. You are getting a little rolled in shoulder, but it's the same idea. Fingers forward, lift up. That same, just like shifting, and get used to hold that, shift back. Shift forward, get used like solid in it, shift back. Your triceps should get tired. Okay, one more shot at this and then we can move on. I just wanted to, it's a pose that you really, is an obscure one. And I do think for a lot of people, these are the hardest arm balances. So elbows off the floor, Sarah. Elbows up, though. What are you doing? You got to put your hands like you're doing something different. You're not paying it. So bend the elbows, look forward. So bend the elbows. There you go. That's all you're doing. You're just getting set in that shape. Yeah. So So I'll tell you, like, I got into, because I've been lazier athletically than usual during COVID. I mean, so my one thing I've been doing when I'm at home is 100 push-ups every day. And like once you've done, fairly quickly you get to the point where you can do a push-up easy. So then it became, how do I make this harder and harder and harder? I'm still only doing 100, but I'm making them like just as hard as I can make the damn thing. And it's really this. It's like getting used to going slow and not just like touch the chest to the floor. It's like I'm not doing this. I'm trying really to live here and like be like, I got that. I can stay there. And because of how much that builds strength and just translates into a lot of other harder to do things. All right, downward dog. I tell you because maybe you'll be like, I'll try to do some push-ups. By the way, I do them in I do them in chunks of 50. Usually I do 50 before I take a shower in the morning and 50 at night, sometimes with a cocktail nearby. I am supporting that. Yep, that's all right. From there, just turn onto your right hand, outer edge of your right foot, Vashisthasana, and open it up big. And you can absolutely do this on your forearm. Is totally good for this one. You can do it. So one of the things is take the top foot to the ground behind you and flip over. So instead of having your hand there, take your hand forward. You're gonna think that's so much easier, like so you have that angle. Good. From Wild Thing, hips high, turn back through to downward dog. It'll come. You're looking more solid every time. Left hand, left side of the foot. Hips high, then step your top foot behind you, opening the chest, curling towards the back bend. Use your legs as well as that supporting arm. Sweet. And then back through, downward facing dog. Ooh. Good. Bend the knees. Walk or jump to the front of your mat and fold down deeply. And then all the way to lay on your back. Bend your knees and lay on down. Getting ready for bridge pose. Bend your knees, place your feet. Bend your arms and really establish the foundation. Back of the arms, back of the head, all very heavy in the mat. And then lift your hips up when you're ready. Yeah. So you can keep the arms bent like that, or see if you can keep the same power in the arms as you karate chop the floor, as you bring your pinky fingers down to the floor. Same squeeze in the arms, feeling as if you're shortening your arm, pulling your hands up into the shoulder joint. You can hold, you can do some lift and lowers, just a good solid bridge as your first warm-up back bend. Good. Whenever you need a rest, butt on the floor, curve in your back, and you can wiggle your knees side to side like windshield wipers. Yeah. So it's like that turning of your hips is what helps loosen up the muscles that are in your low back, or the ones you feel that get tight in your low back. Nice. And then again, same back bend, or go up and do a wheel pose, placing your hands by your ears as you lift all the way up. And the same thing on the first one, treat it as kind of the warm-up back bend of spend some time there, establish your foundation really well, make sure you're breathing deeply, that you're addressing if there is tension that you might be holding somewhere. And your breath and your mind can be magical in addressing and changing that. Yeah, Tyler, looks good, man. Yeah. What's that? What? It's you know, a lot of it is where you place your hands, and when you place your hands really low, you get stuck. So get to the top of the head, and then see if you can take your hands wider. So just stay there and see if you can get them wider and wider. And that's just the thing, like rolling towards your forehead type thing. Use your legs, try to push yourself to your forehead. Just that much is like that butt up high, yeah, super good. And yeah, believe it or not, you can still get your arms wider. It's weird because you get up there and then you're like trying to essentially get your hands so you can't see them anymore. Just think of this, like if I told you to push something overhead, you're weak this way. But if you go like this and you stack it over your shoulders, you're much stronger. But even that being said, a lot of it's like get on your head, just take some breaths and try to lift your hips and it'll come. Tyler, you can tell her, right? You were there once upon a time. Most of us don't walk into yoga class doing that the first time, you know? It's like, yeah, Sarah, looks good. All right, finish up. You can do one last back bend, or if you are done with those, you can start making your way into windshield wipers, which is knees to the right. I will do it. So when you get down, you just separate your feet wide, rock your knees to the right, and right foot on top of the left knee or thigh. Turn your knees to the left. Do the other side, left foot on top of right thigh. Yeah, re-lengthening, opening up the soft tissue through these chains of muscles, through these lines through your body. Good job. And then come back up to center. We're going to turn on the mat to do some inner hip work. So you can build cushion with your mat or with clothing. You're taking your knees apart so that you're resting on the inside part of your knee. And then rocking your hips forward and back, trying to work the inner thighs further back. And so, yeah, you can hold in the toughest spot, or you can loosen up that tight spot just by nudging forward and back a little bit. Definitely listen to your body. I mean, some of these areas can be very tight because they don't get stretched a lot, but you want to make sure when you're taking your butt back, you're anteriorly tipping your spine, which kind of think about it like stick your butt, try to lift the glutes as you go back into it. If you've been there for a few breaths and you feel like, oh, I'm loosening up, take your knees a little wider apart. Good. And then wiggle yourself out of there and take a seat in a straddle position. If you can move your mat, you can face forward, whatever. Whatever works. Good. Toes up, legs pressed down, fold forward. And then you're just trying to hold it. So keep your legs strong. If you want more, reach your arms over your head. If you want less, you can lightly touch the ground, but trying to really build some of that support in your legs. And the same thing, as you feel more open to it, you can slide your legs apart more. Now walk your hands to the right leg, trying to stay as long as you can through your torso. And that's going to mean when you go to the right leg, watch the right waistline. Really, it can be your whole right side, but really from where the bottom ribs to the hip bone is, that's the spot that is so easy to shorten, and that's what we want to prevent. And then same thing, work your way over to the left, maximize the length, maintain as much length as you can in your torso. Good, and then back to the middle. Ooh, all the way up to sit. And grab your legs and pull them in. And then a butterfly pose really is a good shape change for your thighs. Press your legs down. Either push yourself away, more gentle, more basic, or if you're able to stay tipped forward, you can try to reach and pull yourself in there. You always think about length on this version, that you're trying to get your chest and your torso to draw out over past the toes. Nice. And then up to sit. Right leg over left, Left leg can bend in. Ardha Matsyendrasana with the right leg on top. You may feel a little tilted. If that's the case, keep your feet down. Just shoot your butt a little to the left. That can help. And then you're twisting right. The upper body and the torso first. Make sure you're sitting up tall. Make sure you can lift the chest, you're wide through the collarbones. Then you can lean back even a little bit. So that right hand behind you, walk the fingers back a little, lean back into it, but continue to pull that top knee in towards you. Good. Yeah, use the breath to rinse the soft tissue, to keep space in there. Good, and then look forward on the inhale, unwind, and switch your legs. Put the left leg on over the right. Sitting up tall as you work the twist. I know this is not the case in this room, but like if you have a little belly or something, it can really restrict the twist. So you just want to make sure that you are holding your really good posture, and leaning back can make that a lot more doable initially. Definitely if you have a little belly on you. Good. Inhale back to center, and then stretch your legs out. You're going to lay on your back. Yeah. Once you're down, bring your knees into your chest. Give your legs a hug. And then reach up and grab your feet, happy baby pose. Separating the knees wide enough that you can pull down, knees towards the floor, but simultaneously send your butt to the floor as well. Letting yourself relax here, calm down here. And then from this pose, right into Shavasana, or feel free to take any last pose that you like to do in preparation for Shavasana, or meditation for that matter. And just as we start practice, being really mindful of where we're at physically, mentally, energetically, all those things, go through that same list as you wind back down. How does your body feel? Are there places that are tense, that need a little attention? Is your mind present, or are you distracted by all the many things that could be taking your attention away? And again, the first step is noticing. Of course, you are empowered to try to do whatever you can to be mindful and adjust accordingly. But give yourself credit that it really is an important first step just to notice things. Keeping your body heavy against the ground, begin to deepen your breath. So the only thing really creating movement is your breath. And that slow way of bringing conscious movement into your body. So you can add the little wiggles of your fingers and your toes. Slowly letting that build to bigger and bigger movements, whatever really feels good to you. But with that sense of surrender, of heaviness, of ease in the body. And then from there, make your way all the way back up to a comfortable seated position. No rush, taking your time to do that. And as you sit tall, acknowledging, again, a scan through the body, a scan through the mind, and those heart feelings, those qualities that can catalyze, can bring everything together. Hopefully to a more clear, a more uplifted being. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. And to thank yourself for the discipline and the dedication to continue to show up and practice, to make the time to do something so healthy for body, for mind, and for heart. And so you hold your hands in front of your heart in the most caring way, as if you were holding your heart. And the reverence and the care that you hold for yourself and for your community becomes evident in the way you make this mudra with your hands. To that, into a lifted heart, take a deep breath. And you can bow. Namaste.